Hello. Hello,
Hi,
Volodymyr. How are you?
hi, Steve.
I haven't seen you for a while.
I'm glad to see you too.
Are you in Kiev?
Yeah, same.
I've been following your posts and reading them on Facebook.
Unfortunately, it's on translation. I rarely post to English, so mostly in Twitter. That calls now like X.
Yeah. Actually, on Facebook, you can hit translate, and so I see it in Ukrainian, then I just read it in English. So yeah, I can read it.
Oh, there, yeah, I think there are some lost in translation as well as I have some specific
Yes.
terminology and names. So
Right. Yes. Yeah. But I get the meaning of what you're
okay.
saying, and you're very smart. Um, so uh, first, I just wanted to ask you how you're doing. It looks like you're. Let me put my glasses on. Looks like you're looking younger and healthier.
How I'm looking at that lost connection. So
You look younger and healthier than the last time I saw you. So
oh,
you're doing.
thanks a lot. I'm trying to work on myself.
Oh, you're doing good. Well, actually, sometimes I sit here in the United States and I think, I don't know. Should I go back to Ukraine and do a few more of those, dinner table type, conversations? I don't know. I don't know if it's the right time. What do you think?
Well, why not? Welcome here. So there are a lot of world leaders coming here. So it's probably safe and if any attack, you always have a shelter here.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think we are used to live like that. So for me, I'm even when I have these flying drones on my building at night, I even didn't wake up. I just turned to turn to another side and continue
Yeah.
sleeping.
Isn't
Just
that
same some.
isn't that an amazing thing that there can be bombs going off? And I guess probably if I were there, I'd be
It's
thinking,
like a,
if it's my turn, it's my turn. I guess I'd be kind of thinking like that, I suppose. But
the human being is like a cockroach. Can use to live in every situation.
that's a very good point. We can survive under any circumstance. Look at World War
Yeah.
II, World War One, and all the others. But so let me ask you, as you know, there's a lot going on. I don't have to tell you, but there's a lot going on in Ukraine. There's a lot going on with the Trump administration, how they look at the war compared to how the Biden administration does. And right now, the French president came yesterday. And I think how Trump sees it, and I watch a lot of news and I study, and from what I am gathering is that uh, Trump obviously wants to make peace. He wants to talk to Russia, and the Europeans seem to be against that particular way of going about it. And Trump seemed to also be on the verge maybe of not funding Ukraine anymore, whether it's monetarily or through weapons. So with those particular things going on, like what is your view? How do you see it?
Well, understanding what's going on in Ukraine, and I think he would like to end this war at all costs, even at all Ukrainian cost. And we clearly see it in his proposal to make a rare earth minerals deal as a payment for the aid were given to Ukraine in the last 3 years. I admit it's completely unfair, and I have an argument why that because if we look back to the cooperation. So if it was not agreed before, so it's like a racket to demand the payment after. And if we like to play this game, speaking about business and calculate what was given and what Ukraine lost, so I would like to remind that by demand of United States, Ukraine gave up nukes in 1994. Then Ukraine gave up strategic aviation, and Ukraine gave up a lot of regular weapons in the after the joined the treat for shortening the regular weapons in Europe. So if we will calculate how many assets we lost after demands of United States in 90s and beginning of this century, so it will be, I think the calculation will come as close to the $1 trillion. So if Mr. Trump wants to charge us with $500 billion, so what we can do with other $500 billion that Ukraine lost after after the nuclear striptease, as we said, well, I think it's not productive discussion and demand to pay back for already given. So after after our nuclear striptease, we got back literally nothing. And the guarantee, the state that was among the significators for guarantees to Ukraine, means Russia Federation, purely attack Ukraine in 2014, and after that attack, it was the full-scale aggression in 2022. So I think if America would like to be a responsible partner for every country in the world, so it means that it's definitely not a good idea to charge the state after the given military aid because of this state with its goodwill made a lot for peace in the world. The first country that voluntarily gave up its nuclear weapon, and the United States that was presented by its president shouldn't forget about that. So I think that Trump's ideas now, what I've read in Heritage Foundation Project 2025, in the paragraph, the part about the foreign relations, it means that it's new Kissinger policy, but now they will try to break and to tie up Russia with United States to break their connections to China. This idea, I think, will fail, and I give a lot of chances that this idea will fail. First of all, the Russia economy is strongly tied to China. Some industries have about 40 more percent owned by China in Russia, I mean. And the second, for Russia, it is purely dictatorship. It's not a good idea to have to lay its hopes down on United States, where political situation is more vulnerable in comparison to China. In China, there are no elections. In Russia, elections every 4 years, but even every 2 years, if we count on situation with the legislative bodies of United States. So Putin, he would like, for him, he's more comfortable to have a deal with China, where situation is predictable for decades, than with the United States, where a situation cannot be predictable for the next 5 years. In from the point of view of Russian Federation. So in this case, if Donald Trump would like to have Ukraine as a bargaining coin for big game, I think he should understand that Ukraine not usually giving up with such sort of pressure. And I know that we have a lot of problems with our government and the effectiveness and the reliability of our government is big question for in Ukrainian side. But at the same time, we have to talk with Mr. Trump as not as a mentor and underdog. Ukraine is purely not an underdog after the effective resistance to a Russian army in the last 12 years, last 11 years. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this also. Two more questions is when the U.S. talks of peace, when Ukraine talks of peace, Russia, what, in your opinion, would be acceptable to Ukraine as far as a peace agreement? Because what we hear obviously is that part of the peace agreement would be Russia keeps the Eastern Donbas regions they've taken. Another person may say, no, that all that has to be given back. But if that were the case, the war goes on. So like in your opinion, what would be acceptable to you and Ukraine as far as a peace agreement?
Well, I do believe that we have to follow the two red lines that should never be crossed. The first is, this is the territorial matter. So we cannot name territories temporarily occupied by Russian as Russian territories officially. Otherwise, it will open the Pandora box for a lot of wars for territory around all over the world. Believe me, it's absolutely unacceptable if we wouldn't like to undermine the world security, because it will not stop wars. It's like chain reaction will move up a lot of wars in many countries, between many countries in the world, as well as a lot of frozen conflicts. And you know that it's absolutely unacceptable for us. We can accept the form like it was with Baltic states during Soviet occupation, like what they was not accepted by United States, by the Western countries, and it was, but de facto it was a part of Soviet Union as for temporary period. As occupied territory. So the status of occupied territory is the red line, what we cannot let to cross anyone. And second, the military balance. Second red line is military balance. We cannot concede with the shortening of Ukrainian army or weapons or ability to make security blocks and deals with other states like our sovereign right. It doesn't mean that NATO. It will be. We understand that NATO is not ready to adopt Ukraine as a new member, but at the same time, Ukraine needs to savor its option to make local, regional defense agreements, etc. So without that balance, military balance, without the development of Ukrainian army and Ukrainian military production, Without possibility of cooperation with the states, we will be destroyed in a couple of years, because Russia will never hold agreements more than time needed to Russia to prepare the new war. It's clearly.
Would you accept? I've heard this proposal. Would you accept neutrality?
Neutrality?
Well, would you accept claiming, let's say, neutrality without NATO, but having sovereignty, your territories back, but remaining neutral as a neutral state nation?
Not absolutely, as well as we need to have a right to make, in a case if NATO fail, for instance. We see that NATO now is in the it has not its the best times, especially after Trump claimed policy, a new policy about world security participation of United States. So Ukraine has need to have a reserve the right to make some agreements with its neighbors, with European states, with other states who would like to guarantee security and defense to Ukraine, who are also interested in Ukrainian experience as an army who has the best, and I don't think it's disputable, the best experience in Europe for a while.
Yes.
So I think that we should not cross these two red lines I mentioned now. And the other cases should be in discussion and the form that it will be acceptable. You know, we spend a lot of time for resistance. We show up our strength, how to beat out the army that was ours. We paid a lot of life. We paid a lot of our infrastructure, cities, and we lost a lot of. We paid a very big price just to give up. No,
right.
Sorry, no.
Right.
We cannot give up.
This is very understandable.
We need.
This is very understandable. I was just posing that because that's what part of the argument I hear here. But it's such a tragedy. Ukraine has. I see some of the videos from the east. You know, the devastation of the towns and cities. It's tragic. All the death. I mean, I don't have the answers, but what you're helping us to understand is more your viewpoint, which seems to be the larger Ukrainian viewpoint, and that's totally appreciated by me. One other question, and I hate to cut you off on that, but one other question we hear Donald Trump saying is that you can't have peace really unless Zelensky, you have new elections. What is your opinion on that?
Well, you know that we cannot avoid the devastation because we didn't begin that war, but we have to fight for our land and to stop aggressive Russian. It's a new fascism in the. Russia will not leave us calm, alone, and they will be. Russians will always try to take control over Ukraine. Whether Putin will believe them or someone else. It's a question of centuries. It's not a question of last days. So just to learn the history about Ukraine and Russia, and that this is our long-term war for independence, for the right to live our lives as we want. I think Americans who loves and prefer liberty could understand us and understand that we have a right to live as we want. So, and we wouldn't like to be a part of Russia. About the Zelensky, Trump called Zelensky dictator. He's definitely not dictator, but he's authoritarian leader. At the same time, I would like to watch the leadership in Russia, for instance, in the last 25 years, and in Ukraine. So it will be very big surprise that Ukraine always changed presidents every 5 years. Only one, President Kuchma, he holds 2 terms in the office. So I think I'm pretty sure that Ukraine can have elections. I would like to. We should fight to make it, but it's our interior fighting, political fighting, to make it free and fair. But at the same time, the basic condition is a ceasefire, and it should be a guaranteed ceasefire. But at least half a year, we need to prepare post-war elections, as well as we have changes in our demographical situation. A lot of people are displaced, displaced persons or refugees. We need to rewrite completely our electoral code. We need to renew our register of voters. A lot of work we have to do, but at the same time, and we need to fix the law in the part of the participation of militaries in elections as a voting or running for membership in parliament, in councils, or presidency, for presidency as well. So a lot of things we have to do. But first of all, it's absolutely impossible now to arrange elections under the permanent attacks from Russia Federation by missiles, drones, etc. So in this case, we cannot name these elections are free because every elections under the guns. Well, they cannot be admitted like a free and fair completely. So we need to have, first of all, a ceasefire. Then, absolutely, I'm sure, we will be doing our job. And of course, I think it's a big chance that Zelensky will not be elected on the second term. In Ukraine, he losing popularity. It's clearly the corruption cases and the bad governance undermine the trust to his power, and it is still not for 4%, but it's about the real support Zelensky as a potential candidate to presidency, less than 30%, and a lot of competitors can win and will win elections in the second round.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should run.
No, thank you very much. I didn't. So I think we have a good candidate that can unify all the state, and but this candidate still not claim he is ready for for presidency, but I do believe that he will hear the voice of Ukrainians, and as well as he can make a lot of things to on the presidential position as a very experienced military person and experienced already in diplomacy. So this chair is perfectly fit for him.
I think you're referring to Zelensky. Maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I said, well, I want to thank you, Volodymyr. I say in Ukrainian, "Дякую." I think that's how you say thank you. And hopefully I'll come visit soon. And if I do, I'll let you know. We'll do a few dinner table conversations. But you've enlightened us to what is going on, because most people don't have the time really to investigate this topic. They just hear the headline news and that's all. So I want to thank you very much, and it's good to see you again. And I'll be back in contact soon. And I will send you a copy of this, and I will send this on to a TV affiliate. And if they decide to air it, I'll send you that link. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
have a good evening.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Okay. See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Just back a little bit. If you're watching the first part of this, Russ, just move. It's 12:26, so I'm about 4 minutes early. So, yeah. Well, this should be an interesting meeting with Volodymyr Ariev, Russ, who is a member of parliament, been there for several years, and man, is there so much going on there. Back just a little bit. Oh, I'm not sure exactly when Volodymyr is coming online. Should be 12:30, which is like three minutes from now. So let's see. Let's wait and see. Review some of my questions here. Audit going to be a massive investigation. Well, he should be coming on soon, I hope. There's a lot going on in the world. It's amazing. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years? Let me get this down a little bit. There we go. Should be about time. We'll see. You never know what comes up. Let me just. Oh. Ah. Oh boy. Oh, well, let me grab my phone and see if he's messaged me. There we go. Hello, Volodymyr.